Welcome to this new e-learning module. Today, we're going to talk about the translational gap and how can we bridge it. I will try to go over what the translational gap is, why is this so important for animal research studies, especially in the psychiatric field, and in the end, I will try to give you an example of how can we try to solve it. Let's start from what the translational gap actually is. The translational gap is essentially an issue that scientists find themselves to face when they try to make prediction of humans based on animal models. Let me try to explain this in a better example. Let's say that you have a candidate drug to treat depression. What you will want to do to see if this candidate drug is a valid novel drug is to find an animal model in which to test your candidate drug and a behavioral test that is able to detect depressive behavior. Let's say that your animal model of choice is a rodent, a mouse, or a rat, and your behavioral test is the force swim test, which is actually a very diffuse test to measure depressive behaviors. How does the force swim test works? Well, we put our rodent into a pool of water and we measure the periods of active swimming, which we categorize as normal behavior, versus the period of passive floating, which we categorize as depressive behaviors. At this point, we only need to administer our candidate drug to our animal model. If what we will see is an increase in the activity periods and a decrease in the inactivity periods, then we have a first clue that our drug is working properly to treat depression. Then, what we're ready to do is to move from an animal model to a human cohort of patients. This might seem a pretty easy transition, right? Well, you will be maybe very surprised to know that many drugs actually show exceeding results in our animal models, but they fail to show significant results in human cohorts of patients. Why is this? This is because some studies are very poorly translatable from animals to humans, and this right here is our translational gap. What can we do to try to solve this issue? A different approach to try to increase the translational value of studies is what is called ethologically relevant paradigms. The whole concept of ethologically relevant paradigms is to try to reproduce conditions that are more natural-like for our animals. So we will find the presence of enriched environments and social context, and the behaviors are observed for a much longer period of time. Why all of this? When we try to reproduce a more natural environment, we need to increase the enrichment of our environment because that's exactly what an animal would have to face in nature. The presence of the social context allows us to measure very complex behaviors, which are very fundamental in the case of psychiatric disorders, like depression in our example. Finally, longer observation makes us able to actually detect these complex behaviors. Why? Because very often complex behaviors takes many hours to arise, versus our previous example with the force swim test, which only lasts a few minutes. In order to analyze the behaviors, we record the animals and in a second moment analyze their behaviors using deep learning algorithms that allows us for a precise tracking. I hope this video was helpful to you. Thank you very much for watching and see you in the next time.